Now we're going to turn it into a hypothetical crisis scenario for you. So are you ready to see if you can survive this podcast?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right. Well, we've got a lot of these scenarios will kind of sound and start the same, but Jeff is good. Jeff, one of the producers, is good at mixing it up. So don't think for a second that you're about to listen or hear the same scenario. So here we go. With any of these active shooter situations, the situation itself dictates what's the right or wrong. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, you've got to know where the shooter is, because as you know, and I've discussed this before, gunshots fired indoors is super loud and it's omnidirectional. So you have a hard time knowing exactly where the shots are actually coming from. Sometimes they sound like they're coming from the right, but really they're coming from the left. But
if you've looked at active shooter scenarios in schools and malls and stuff, a lot of times the groups of people were running right towards the dude because they heard gunshots and it reflected off the wall and they ran right into the actual shooter. So very good point for sure. Yeah.
So freezing up is never a good idea in a survival situation. Stay low to the ground, and finding cover gives you a better chance of survival than freezing up and being an easy target. So you stay low and you get moving. So next, do you A, get behind a large rack of food in order to hide from the shooter, or B, stay low, zigzag over to one of those freestanding meat coolers?
I'll go with the meat coolers. I'd probably have a little bit more, cover there, and a better. I would try to position myself to be in a dominant position over the shooter, and wherever he's positioned. You don't want to get up behind a soft cover in a scenario like that, because bullets go through bread quick.
Cover versus concealment, right? So bread, potato chips, any rack of food is not going to stop bullets, though it will hide you from the bad guy. Now cover is anything that stops bullets. So for those of you listening, you always want to choose cover over concealment, because cover will still hide you, but it stops bullets. Like, a freezer full of frozen meat will certainly stop some bullets. But the bread shelf will not. So cover versus concealment. Always look for
just
cover.
Just like your car, like a car door too. People forget you can shoot right through a car door, man, easy. So get behind that engine block, get behind the wheel. Well, get behind something that's hardened, because people have a misconception of what bullets can do. A 9mm will cleanly go through a door of the car.
Sure will.
So that's something you got to think about when you're in that scenario for sure.
Suddenly, a Molotov cocktail comes flying in through your open window. All right, and the mob wants to burn the building down. Do you A, run out of the building and sprint straight for the Honda, or B, do you zigzag your run, keeping your head low as you try to escape?
B.
Yes, this is correct. And zigzag. So it's important to note, when you zigzag or run sporadically, it forces shooters and bad guys to change their elevation and windage, especially with rifles, pistols, whatever, anything with sights or optics, which makes you a harder target to hit. And that's the goal. Be a hard target. So with all the active shooting, mass shootings going on, and you've got to run a long stretch of terrain and you don't have any cover to run to, and you find yourself in the open, run sporadically, run like an idiot, moving all over the place, it makes it a lot more difficult for the shooter to get accurate bullets in your back. With all the reading I've done and actually talking and interviewing lots of people, there is this, the bear encounter experience. It has been vastly different for a lot of different people. But the baseline that you hear all the time with black bears is to get loud, get big, because they are the least aggressive, and you can actually scare them off like they're like a big rat, basically. Yeah. So you are right. Get loud, get big. And brown bear, like you said, are far more aggressive, so they say. But some of the techniques for both have worked with both. And it's important to say that. It's really the situation, the environment, in whether you are injured or not, and what's around you determines really what you're going to do. Give the other variation with black bears.
So black bears are often as long as they're not like emaciated or injured, are much more afraid of us than we are of them.
Yeah.
2 is if we're 70 feet away, their eyesight isn't that great, but their sense of smell and their sense of hearing is pretty good. So chances are they heard me rather than see me. And so I don't want to target identify myself unless I absolutely have to. Likelihood is that bear is going to look over to see if I'm a threat, and then it's going to look down. And as soon as it looks away, I'm going to start retreating some more. But to your point, if that bear noticed me and started coming towards me, then I would go option A and make myself as big and as prominent and as fearsome as I could.
Yeah. I agree 100%. They're like dogs. They can smell 3-dimensionally, and with that good hearing, they know exactly where you are.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, you can be behind a tree, and they're still going to know you're behind a tree.
But there's a big difference between a bear feeding, just going,
right,
and like making an overt turn towards you.
Without a doubt. And I would say too, the situation, if you've got your family with you versus you're by yourself, or with a mama bear with her cubs or by herself, also play a big role in the decision-making process.
Huge.
You're home alone, okay? And you're in bed, and suddenly everything starts to shake violently, all right? And I don't know if you're familiar with what California is due. It's actually overdue for a huge earthquake. So anyway, you feel everything start to shake, okay? Do you A, get up and rush out of the home, or B, stay in the house? Now, there's a lot of protocols that come with earthquakes that you may or may not know about, but you're going to A, get up and run outside, or are you B, going to stay inside?
Depends how violent the shake is. I would say that the first initial shake, I'd probably stay put. So I'd stay put, assess it, and then go from there.
There you go. Look at you. So yes, you want to stay in the house. There's a lot of common misconceptions when dealing with earthquakes and the protocol that come with it. But rushing outside, especially at night, you don't know what you're running into, and the structure you're inside of is going to protect you more than probably whatever's falling outside. So you don't want to put yourself at risk, especially at night. So good job. Yes, B, stay in the house. All right, next. Do you A, lay down next to a sturdy piece of furniture, like a big couch or a table, or B, go stand in a door frame? It's a tough one.
I would say A, because if anything was to fall, then that sturdy bit of furniture would hopefully protect you from any.
Good job. Yes, A. Another misconception, because you'll hear about it here in the States, is go stand in a door frame. But unfortunately, door frames are not like reinforced. They're just a door frame. And there's nothing that's really going to protect you. But a couch laying horizontally up against it will hopefully break the fall of other debris, because the number one killer in an earthquake is falling debris. So you want to basically take cover, if you will. You're listening to Can You Survive This Podcast? Thanks for tuning in. Please make sure to subscribe, rate, and share on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your favorite shows.